we talked about white light. I think we can hit this one real quick. White light that's too bright for indoor use. I think it has a simple answer. Yes, eventually that shit's going to get too fucking bright. Yeah. Like, what do you really need for indoor use specifically? We talked about it for exterior police work down the road. Yes, these high power lights are massively super helpful. But inside a house, you're going to reach a diminishing returns, and chasing that next lumen candela bubble is starting to get a little bit stupid for interior use.
Like, what are you actually, like, what is the goal of having a light on any system, whatever it is? What's up, Louis? On any system, you want to be able to see. Now, you need the appropriate amount of light for the task at hand. So on a rifle exterior, you might need more light, okay? If you're doing all interior work, entry work, you don't need quite as much light. Vehicle mounted lights for what you're talking about, search and stuff. But it's like the idea that more is always better. The key is I need enough light. Whatever my task is going to really dictate how much light I actually need and how focused my beam needs to be and all the rest. So it's like, depending on where you work, if you work downtown in a major city, maybe you don't need as focused a beam as if you work in a rural area where you're outdoors a bunch, where you need something that's going to reach out 100 yards so that you can identify something. So it's like the idea that there's this one size, like more is better. We have more lumens, we're immediately better. I've heard people say, well, more lumens is more information. Who the fuck said?
Here's the thing with this, and I'll be perfectly honest. Like the debates I've read about lights and lumens, candela, beam strength, that I never once in my entire life have thought about that.
Yeah, me neither.
It just wasn't a thing. You want a light to be bright. How it's bright, I never really cared. And it used to be, you get a Surefire Scout light, it's 1,000 lumens, but you put the Vampire hood on, and now it goes down to 350.
Yeah.
For me, the 350 still does the same thing. So if you think you can't do something operationally with 1,000, I don't have 1,000 lumens, and 1,500 must be, I don't even know what the fuck a lumen is, to be perfectly honest with you.
It's the candle from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Right?
Lucas, you obviously...
Guys started the GWAT with 90 to 120 lumen gun lights.
They all were killed in the streets. So Lucas, you obviously do a shit ton, probably more than most people, right? And I think that's really hard for a lot of tactical dudes to swallow, right? I think it comes from like jealousy because they don't have the guns you have or whatever, but you do a ton of testing, right? Shooting stuff, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, and then from your experience, seeing what works and what doesn't work, right? So I'm sure you've weighed in on this on the internet or whatever. We're talking about lights. I don't know if you heard white light. It's too bright for indoor use. Yeah, I think we can all agree that happens. But are these, like, in terms of white lights, what are the deal breakers for you?
So I'll summarize by saying I get a lot of time behind a lot of different weapons, but I do want to point out that it is small batches of time per item because we have like generally 20 to 30 items in queue. So we're not putting 10,000 rounds on each item. So I just want to clarify that. But in the limited testing I've done, old Surefires, all the way down to the old X300 non-ultra, incandescent bulb, 200 lumen, whatever it was, to the 500 lumen ultra, the 600, the 1,000, and now the turbo, which I've been using for 6 months. They're launching, I think they actually started shipping yesterday. That's a pistol light you can take out to 200 meters. And it's a very focused beam. I've shot it with a carbine to 150 with a magnifier at night. Up close on a target at 5 meters, it's pretty bright. But it's not, in my opinion, I haven't had a light that's blinded me or prevented me from what I'm looking at when I shine it. Now, granted, I don't do a lot of sims force on force like you guys were talking about earlier. I just haven't had a light thing that I've done.
Yeah.
Well, are they out there and could it exist? Yes. Something like the Surefire Hellfighter for miniguns or something like that, that might be a problem. But honestly, that's more of a question for you guys doing CQB on when do you want a flood to get all the information in the room versus I really want to direct all this light into this person's face so they can't, you know, react to what the team is doing. That's more of a question for you guys, but
I think so. My take on that is being a bad guy in force on force. The lights only get so bright. It's like less lethal tools, beanbags and foam batons. They can only go so fast, and they can only put so much pain on the target. You make them faster, they don't work better. You make it brighter, it doesn't work better on the bad guy. Like, to a point. There's diminishing returns.
Dude, what I've seen just from being a bad guy on force and being a good guy on force, if you're not looking directly into the battle, if it's off camera a little bit, it dramatically mitigates that whole blinding effectiveness thing. You got to be showing their face directly. If it's off camera even a little bit, it minimizes the amount of effect, and people move anyway. People don't like having shit shine in their eyes. So I think that like, oh, it's going to blind your adversary part of it. I understand the theory behind it, but I just don't see it being super effective. I don't see it as, like, if I'm blind, if I shine a light on you and you do dumb shit, then, like, if you're a law enforcement officer, you'll get ballistically apprehended, right? So it's like, it gives me enough light to do what I need to do, but the idea that somehow it becomes another, like, offensive system somehow to degrade the ability of that adversary, I've never seen that be the case. And I think it's kind of made up to sell lights, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's not, and again, it's not some kind of fuddy, oh, your light's going to be too fucking bright and blind yourself. We're not saying that stupid fucking bullshit. What we're saying is, can it get too bright? Yeah, like, I think this one's already been killed. Like, we're getting diminishing returns.
Here's the deal. To me, this is like my summation. Just have enough fucking light to do your job. Yeah. Make sure you got enough light and a little extra to do your job, and that's fine. However, lumens or candela or cubits or fucking whatever you call it, great. But just have enough to do your job. And that's people what they think you should use to do your job, and why don't you figure out what you need to do your job?
Agreed.
Yeah. No, I think that's right.